Around midlife, everybody goes maniac a little bit. Tom Berenger. American suburbia has been a fascinating place for psychologists and sociologists. Since its rapid beginnings after World War II, the suburbs represented the need of people to conform and a place where appearances could be deceiving. They were an important symbol of status as the middle class escaped the crowded inner cities, providing a perfect setting for American Beauty, directed by Sam Mendes. Lester seems to be living the American dream, a lovely, beautiful, and successful wife, an average teenage daughter going through the harsh and insecure years of adolescence, and a nice home in the suburbs with 2 cars and a green lawn. Serious underlying problems harass the family. Lester is unhappy with his work and overall life. His wife looks for success and is unfaithful to Lester. The daughter seems to have a normal life as an adolescent, with problems characteristic of that period. The main focus is Lester, who after becoming infatuated with his daughter's friend, seems to undergo a midlife crisis. The movie is a parody of the suburban life, portraying Lester's stress in a rather sarcastic way. Doing this, the movie fails to accurately display midlife crisis the way people in real life do. Focusing on the differences between real life and the movie, I will clarify what the midlife crisis truly is. Midlife crisis is an emotional change in a person's life, normally between their 30s to their 50s, where the individual questions its own achievements and life. This period of change and transition is a result of the person's realization of its own mortality, or the recognition that they are closer to the end of their life than the beginning. Controversy has surrounded this topic, as it has been claimed to be a fictional stage of life, or more of a self-convincing idea, mainly because not everyone lived through it. During this time, people start judging themselves, their careers and accomplishments. Basically, it's a time of reflection when people try to understand who they have become. This period of transition has been characterized by changes in the person's professional life. Lester goes beyond a simple judgment of his career to the extreme of quitting his stable job to go work in a fast food restaurant. Although it's true that this might happen in some real life cases, usually people do not undergo such drastic changes. Such an uncommon action adds to the argument that the movie tries to get a point across by creating a radical contrast, and for that we cannot take the movie as a serious representation of a real case scenario of a midlife crisis. We cannot forget that the movie does not intend to portray midlife crisis, but show in a satirical way the life in the suburbs. After being infatuated with his daughter's friend, Lester starts working out. His fascination with Angela becomes the focal point of the movie and the reason for his uneasiness. Working out is a critical turn in the main character throughout the movie, and very accurately related to real life. This period is very important during the midlife crisis, since the individual realizes that he does not possess the fitness or shape of 10 or 20 years ago. Although the reasons for Lester are the result of outside motivation, it is pretty accurate with a real-world example. There is still some deviation from real life, since Lester grows a fascination for himself. The greatest example is when he starts working out in the garage, naked, staring at himself in the window. Another change that he does to his routine is running with the neighbors to get in better shape. This is a very accurate demonstration of the changes that people usually undergo. The adjustment in the individual's routine provides a sense of difference and positive feedback, especially if the transition translates into something good, in this case, getting fit. On the other hand, midlife crisis can either create negative or positive feelings to the individual, depending on if looking back to his life, he grows satisfied or not. A strong proof towards the lack of accuracy that the movie portrays is the fact that Lester starts smoking. People usually undergo different changes, but turning to drugs is not one of them. Especially someone with the description and characteristics of Lester. He is an established middle-class man with a comfortable job, and we can assume with a clean record. Implying that he would turn to drugs as a method to cope with his crisis is far-fetched. Presumably, the movie needs to exaggerate some of the facts to convince the viewers of the serious agony that the main character goes through. Lester is undergoing some drastic changes in his life. Drugs, playing a big role in today's life, especially marijuana, serves as a perfect way for the movie to portray a major change. Yet again, not accurate. It can be said that Lester seems to be having positive feedback from his transitions, since he seems to become a better person. But we cannot tell if the movie is accurate or not, since very ironically, the changes that Lester undergoes end up killing him. To sum up, the movie is a great example of a magnified midlife crisis. Although it is not entirely accurate, it successfully shows the essence of what midlife crisis is. Going along with its exaggerations, the drastic changes eventually brought an even bigger consequence: the death of Lester. The writer and director portray Lester as some kind of Greek hero, undergoing a moment of realization right before the tragedy. He successfully challenges every notion of commonness and breaks free from the conceptions of the suburban life. Working out, quitting his job, judging himself, and taking a look to his marriage are all prime examples of midlife crisis. The difference rests on the way the changes were done. Do not worry, midlife crisis will not lead you to death, like in the movie, but being aware of the existence of it does not help us deal with but try to avoid it. We should constantly take a look of where we are and what we have achieved. Always try to make the best decisions and live to the full of our abilities. Carpe diem.